I'm getting excited to drive this. Oh my! Today we unbox the Uniconnect Plus cable from Unitronic, as well as a new laptop to go with it that we need for this. Install the stage 1 files on the ECU and the TCU, and she rips. She gets after. We're burning rubber now in a front wheel drive car, and surprisingly, it's a blast, and I think it's a good thing. Normally that's not the case. We go deep into tuning land. Deep. But it's something that I think is totally overlooked by the average car guy. If you know nothing about tuning, you're gonna have a good sense of what goes into it, what's involved after this video. Someone in your friend group needs to be the guy to understand tuning to help everyone else understand. So you might as well stick around and be that guy. We got the good old point of view driving footage at the end for you to give you a good sense of what it's like to be behind the wheel of one of these machines. Audio, visual, the whole 9 motion blur, I got you. And the reaction to purchasing and installing this product and seeing what it drives like. This modification is good. Enjoy this video, and I hope this inspires you to go out and put something like this on your car and enjoy it just that much more, because this is a good time. If you're unfamiliar with the terms ECU and TCU, let's dive into it really briefly. The ECU is the computer that controls the engine, tells it how much boost pressure, how much ignition timing, making sure all the coolant, oil temps, all that are okay. It tells the computer, hey, we got really hot air coming in, let's reduce the ignition timing, let's increase our boost level to achieve our torque target. That's something that the computer's thinking about, how it works. The TCU is saying, hey, at this RPM, let's shift in drive mode. In sport mode, no, we're gonna go way higher in shift. Oh, you're at 80% brake pressure. In sport mode, we're gonna downshift all the way to 2nd gear from 4th because you're getting on the brakes, and we wanna do the downshifting and rev matching for you. Those are the types of things that the Unitronic team puts into testing and development in extreme heat and extreme cold, high altitudes, low altitudes. All those things get calculated in by humans to make the car run reliably and at a high performance for everyone's situation across the continents. That takes a lot of work, and don't think it's just a tune that you flash on the car and it's just instant horsepower, like it's easy. No, they charge what they do and they pride themselves on what they do, and tuners do a lot and put in a lot of effort and just mental thought, mental energy into making these cars gain more power and make more power through these simple tunes. Don't overlook tuning is what I'm trying to tell you. It's something that I've geeked out on the last 2 years. It's something I highly respect at such a high level. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that can go wrong. There's a lot that can go right. And to find something that's reliable and make a lot of power is not an easy task, but once you get there, it's worth it. It's awesome. It's a huge part of what makes the world go around with cars, is all the people that do tuning. So Unitronic, shout out to them for keeping things simple, reliable, make a lot of power, and work in all environments. It is super awesome, and I hope that gives you some context of what the ECU and TCU does. Let's dive into the process of installing it and seeing what it drives like. Gotta plug it in. For the application to open, you have to plug in the cable. pretty sweet. I like these sound effects. This is rad. I totally would expect this of Unitronic though. Everything they touch has just a seamless, logistical touch to it. I love that. This screen right now says waiting for registration to be completed. You're gonna go on there and go to your cable activation request email sent to your inbox. I got it up here on my phone. I'm gonna hit the click here. That way it's gonna approve it. It's just an added layer of security. Super slick. Account created, your account was activated. Cool, now we can enter our username and password. Downloading the latest version. Cable registration is now completed. You can proceed with the Uniconnect Plus installation. Please ensure the cable is connected to the OBD2 port and the vehicle ignition is switched to the on position without the engine running. All right, let's pull the car in here. When you're in the middle of this, the last thing you want is the ECU to lose power. It could potentially break your ECU, which is like an iPhone where it just doesn't work. You have to get it repaired or get a new one. This is highly unlikely if your car is newer, but you don't want to take any chances and you want to hook up a battery charger. This is the Optimate 7. This is a completely automatic charger. This thing is super duper rad. It charges any type of batteries. If you have a dead battery that you think is bad, it can actually bring it back to life potentially. If you decide you want the baddest battery charger you can get, I finally got one. If you guys want to get one too, I have a link in the description to order this. There we go. AC off, lights off, not using any unnecessary energy from the battery, hitting OK, detecting ECU, your VIN, confirmed. Ooh. Let's go performance engine flash. I've got 4 engine codes, no engine light. This thing is this VW is a little bit on the sensitive side, so I'm just gonna act like those were never there. Nothing really seems to be a problem with any of those listed. I've had my fair share of engine lights and can kind of gauge what's serious and what's not, and that's no big deal here. We've got access to all of them right here. Stage 1, 91 octane, only use with Unitronic DSG software, so we're gonna install both. Let's see how fast this compares to other platforms I've been in. So far, it's been smoother, faster, more intuitive. This has been like a really fun experience. Other things I've had are just kind of whatever. ECU will be programmed with the following stage 1. You're about to reprogram the ECU memory. You guys can read through this. I agree, and we're ready to start. My battery is in good shape. It's not low. It's not been acting weird lately. If your battery hasn't been starting your car very quick, you should probably connect a battery charger to it. Now I'm seeing some lights pop up on the dash. It's good signs. Programming 0%, 1%. We got to turn the ignition to off and then hit the next button. Now switch ignition to on, then off again. Next. Now switch ignition to on and click next, off, and then click done. I guess that's it. Let's start her up. Sweet. The ignition is back on. Let's program the transmission. Oh, I'm getting excited to drive this. Done. I think we're good. Just give her a start. Should I wait till the daytime to record my reaction to driving this? Yes. Am I gonna do that? No. No. Heck no. As much as I would love for you guys to see daylight while I get my first reaction, your boy over here just you can clearly tell I'm excited, and you would definitely not wait either, so I'm gonna go for a quick drive down the street, and then we'll go for a long drive tomorrow morning, all right? I cannot wait till you guys see all the parts I got for this car. Unitronic Stage 1, 297 horsepower, 346 foot-pounds of torque. That's an additional 87 horsepower and an additional 88 foot-pounds of torque. This is a huge gain for a stock car. Stock everything, it might not get all of this until we install the intake, intercooler, and turbo inlet pipe elbow. So we're definitely gonna feel something, I know for a fact, and it's only gonna get better as we add those parts and move forward. Let's move over to the TCU, our transmission, Stage 1 DSG tune. This is what I'm most excited for, to be honest with you, because this is literally my favorite part of this car is the transmission. I'm gonna dive why I chose the DSG over the manual in a different video, but it's the superior option, technology, drivability, everything. This is the first automatic I've owned in 5 years, and I say this confidently even in stock form. Stage 1 DSG tune. RPM limit increased to 6,800. Our gear display is enabled in drive and sport mode, so when you're in drive you can see the gear you're in. Normally you have to be in sport mode for it to tell you that. We've got optimized cruising upshift, set point for maximum responsiveness. Our sport mode wide open throttle upshifts optimized for maximum acceleration. So usually what that means with situations like this with a dual clutch is it boosts up in between shifts so that when you go into the next gear, it's just even faster. That's why these things rip. Optimized smoothness and driving comfort, optimized responsiveness and drivability, extensively tested under various driving conditions, and engineered with strict industry standards. That's the same for, those last couple are the same for the ECU upgrade. Let's go for a drive, I can't wait. I've never had a car that has this horsepower gains in stock form. That's what's exciting about this Euro stuff. And it's completely new to me, completely new to me. Whoa, whoa. It broke loose quick. It boosted up way faster. You feel it, and it pushes your head back finally. Can't even get traction. You can hear the turbo a little bit more too because it is making more pressure for sure. You can hear it go tss. We're gonna hear it a lot more when we get the intake on, I'm hoping. Oh, the new red line to 68 is awesome. It pulls all the way up there. That, now I'm seeing the true, I'm starting to feel the potential of this car. That makes a big difference. It pulls, and it goes, hey, I'm over here still, what? All the way to 68. Hurry up, turn green, I wanna go again, that was fun. Oh my! Dang, let's go! I'll see you guys in the morning. I may or may not go drive more without you guys. Sorry. While the car is getting up to temp, let's go over my notes from last night. So, number one bullet point for me was personality. A tuned situation like this is gonna really show the true potential and personality that this car has, the way they built it, the way people get excited talking about it. All those things, all the personality comes out in how the car is tuned right out of the gate. Yeah, you can add a intake and such to cars and get some personality, but to really feel it in the way it drives, the tune is everything if you're unfamiliar with tuning. The VW Euro guys, they love to talk about tuning this, tuning that. It's a lot to take in, but it's really simple, especially on these platforms. You get into some other like JDM stuff, custom tunes, it just turns into a headache. This is the most simple situation possible. and you get a huge gain for it being so simple. So don't take this lightly. This is why it comes at a price. I wrote down the question that came to my mind that you guys might have is, how can a guy that owned a Mustang before this, a supercharged Mustang, hop in a GTI and have fun when it's much, much slower? The fun part for me about cars, I don't know about you guys, is seeing progress. Is starting with something that, you know, is the way it is, you appreciate it, and then seeing the progress from there. And to have this much progress covered from not having to do any modifications physically to the car is really, really fun to experience. Bottom line, that's it. Every car comes alive differently as you add parts to it, and this already is different than other stuff I've had, and it's fun to experience that. The drive mode is how it should be now. They've perfected it, because when you're driving this car around in drive mode, you wonder, is this a sports car? I can't even tell. Anyone that drives it would never know. But after you do the TCU flash, it shifts much more aggressively. So you get a dual clutch DSG feel. It's like when you're in sport mode, this car comes alive from factory, and you can just tell, hey, this thing likes to go. But when you throw it in regular drive mode, it's just full grandma mode, like regular daily driver, which is good, but it was so drastic of a difference. I'm like, well, I always want to drive it in sport mode because I don't want it to drive laggy and slow, but I also don't really like how peppy it is all the time in sport mode, because it's literally so aggressively different as far as tuning goes with the transmission and the ECU. So now when you get on the gas in drive mode, it shifts a little faster, and it boosts higher up in shifts even in drive mode, and you can tell, and it's something that you can feel is much, much smoother. It gets up and goes off a light really, really well now. Anyone that would hop in and throw it in drive mode could have fun instantly and still drive really, really smooth. It downshifts at really, really low RPMs coming up to a light. It doesn't rev match or anything like that. But when you get off a light, the power's there and it wants to break loose, and I'm only in drive mode. And then when we throw it in sport, it's even better. So I think that they fixed that lagginess in the drive mode to keep it simple, and now it drives the way the car feels like it should and how it wants to. I say that in the sense of someone who buys this for it being a sports car. If this is a daily driver, I don't think you would dislike it at all. I just think that I understand. I bring that up because I understand why they would make it laggy and slow. Is so when you get on the gas, it doesn't really change gears or anything or do anything aggressive, because it just wants to be as smooth as possible. And from factory, that's fine. But for people like us, this is a great fix for that problem. The best part, in my opinion, my favorite part, is how hard it hangs at 6,000 to 7,000 RPM, in between 6 and 7. When you nail it with traction control off in sport mode, it will literally hang for you in the automatic mode in the 6 to 7,000 range, and just keep spinning the tires until it gets grip, it feels it, and then as soon as you have full grip, it shifts and goes. You guys will see with the GoPro camera on the gauges. It is really, really fun to see how smooth that is. It's the most angry I've seen the car act, and it's fun to watch that happen. Transmission tune is $600, ECU tune is $650, the cable is $150. That's a total of $1,400. Is this worth $1,400? Yes. Why? The cable's a quality product. Unitronic has a lot of experience with this platform, as much as anyone else or more. You get not only just a quality product, but a quality experience. I really enjoyed all of that yesterday. I was thinking hours later of all the time and development they put into making the cable, and not only the cable having like the little LED light on it to let you know that it's flashing, or if it has an error it goes red. Most cables in situations like that, they don't have a light or anything like that, and not that you need it, it's just the little details they put in like that that's really cool. And then the part that's more worth it, that's hard to wrap your head around spending money on, is the software. That is where most of the time goes, is the software that goes into making these not only tuned files, the time and different situations they have to run the cars through, different heat cycles, different temperatures, altitudes, all the whole nine. Then you have the whole program side on the Windows computer and the user interface of it telling you what to do and how smooth it is and how it reacts and how it failed once in the beginning but it fixed the second time, and it, you know, they've got it figured out. And I really enjoyed that process, and it was totally stress-free. It was super secure. It was super high-quality feeling, and I think it's a no-brainer. It's the nicest software experience I've had, and the fact that we don't have to run any gauges on the car, and it's just they put in the time. They're confident that you're not going to get any engine lights, any issues. You can drive the car and not have to think about tune files. If you guys are not from the JDM side of things, like if you have a Subaru or other cars, you have to constantly monitor a couple things, and it's not exactly stressful if you know what you're doing. It's just something to pay attention to, and you don't have to deal with that at all with a car like this. And I'm talking about basic bolt-ons, nothing crazy. Anytime, no matter it's these cars or JDM or American, when you do a large amount of mods and you're making a lot more power than stock and you're pushing things to their limits, no matter what car you have, you're gonna have to monitor stuff. But for this situation, they're confident enough. You don't need to monitor everything. The car will take care of itself. It's talking to itself. It has a computer to calculate things to make sure nothing's gonna go wrong. And that's what you pay for. It's just a cherry on top that you get more power. All the time that they put into reliability and drivability to make sure it's smooth driving in parking lots, smooth driving on the freeway, smooth when you go 40% throttle, smooth when you go on 20% throttle. They have to go through each scenario and type that in and plug that in. It's a lot of work. I've seen it with my own eyes. If you know, you know. So just keep in mind, that's what you're paying for. Those people sitting there going through and putting that time in. All right, we're gonna mimic taking off from a red light in drive mode. The quick shifts and just a simple takeaway from a red light when you want to get somewhere, that's new. Before, it's just wow, wow, wow. Now it's wow, like just the right amount of force when shifting to carry your momentum and keep you up to speed, but not jolt or get too aggressive with it. So if I lay into it lightly, about 20% throttle, it's just going to keep shifting keep shifting up, and it's going to keep the RPMs really low, save gas mileage, keep the gas mileage high. At the top right in the center screen, it tells me what gear we're in. We're already in 6th gear. I'm going to go about 50% throttle, straight to 3rd, no major lag. It's right there if you want it. All right, now I'm going to throw it in sport. Now you can see it downshifted to 5th immediately. About 50% throttle, pulls to 4th. You can hear the turbo just the slightest bit. I don't know if you guys can. We're going to do a U-turn here and give you guys a good rev. Downshifting, rev matching the whole way. Alright, we're going 10 miles an hour. Let's roll into it. Full throttle. You can see the 6800 red line now. Keeps the RPMs high. If I want to get back in the gas, it's right there. That's the sport mode. See, if you want to daily drive that, it's a little much. That's what I was talking about earlier. But now that the regular drive mode is there, when you want to drive crazy, the sport mode works really well. Front-wheel drive wants to walk all over the road with more power to it. Stock form, it stayed dead straight. All right, now I'm going to put it in manual mode. Get some good shifts. turn traction control off too. It lights the front tires up now at the top end. That's great. If you forget to shift when you're in manual, it does it for you. You would think it's kind of a bad thing, but it's kind of nice. And like if you want to bounce red line and hit the perfect shift, it'll shift for you. But let's take off. I'm gonna try and keep traction. It rips now. Oh my gosh. When you hear something like, oh, you know, a 50, 80 horsepower gain, you think, well, that's not, you know, don't you need like a 300 horsepower gain? Heck no, you can literally feel, in my opinion, 20 horsepower easily. You can feel it. If you know your car well, you can feel it. 80 horsepower, you'll be thankful for it for a while. It's gonna take you a while to like really feel like you've forgotten about it. Because usually that's the time where things change and you're like, you know, I'm ready for something new, is when you forget about the gain. This is gonna have me thinking about it for a while. It's nothing shocking, it's just something fun to have there now, moving forward for whatever amount of time it may be. Automatic mode, sport mode, traction control off. I want you guys to see this second gear wheel spinning hang, and then it grabs traction and hits third. That's great. Let's do it one more time. I don't need these tires. That was the best example yet of that. If you enjoyed today's video and took something away from it, maybe learned something, maybe just enjoyed it, maybe got some knowledge on your future GTI you're buying or the current one you own, if I could ask you to do anything for me, it would be follow Karma Speed on Instagram, please. I have built out a brand for this community. We're all about building confidence in the garage, making the hard things easy, learning everything we can about sports cars, and just overall enjoying them for what they are and the progress you can make with each one of them and the different experience it has to offer. I love the idea of that and sharing that with you guys and helping anyone turn a wrench for the first time, or just maybe someone who has a lot of experience know what they're getting into. Like myself, I watch YouTube videos all the time of other people on these cars that I just got and get an idea of what I'm getting into, and it helps so much. So I love that idea. I love people learning things easy. So if you like that idea, please follow Karma Speed on Instagram. And if you guys want to go straight to the site, karmaspeed.com, I'm working on some cool gear for you guys, hats, shirts, etc. There'll be always some stuff on the website throughout this year. This is my biggest push. If I could have you guys support on anything, it would be Karma Speed, please. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button so more people can find this video, more people can build confidence in the garage. You can help this community grow. I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, have a great day. Have a great night wherever you're at. I appreciate you.